Easter. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, "This month will be the beginning of months for you. For you this will be the first in the months of the year. Speak to the whole congregation of Israel, saying, On the 10th of this month let everyone take a lamb according to the families of their fathers, one lamb per family. But if the family is so small that it is not enough to eat the lamb, then he and his neighbor next to his house will take one according to the number of the people, according to each man's eating, you shall count the lamb. The animal will be without defect, a male 1 year old, you will take it from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of this month, and the whole congregation of the people of Israel shall sacrifice it between the 2 evenings. And they will take some of the blood, and put it on the 2 posts and on the lintel of the houses where they will eat it. And that night they will eat meat roasted in the fire, and unleavened bread, they will eat it with bitter herbs. You shall not eat anything of it raw, nor cooked in water, but roasted with fire, his head with his feet and his entrails. You shall leave nothing of it until the morning, and whatever remains until morning you will burn in the fire. And you will eat it like this, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you will eat it hastily. It is the Passover of Jehovah. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and I will execute my judgments on all the gods of Egypt. I am Jehovah. And the blood will be a sign for you in the houses where you are, and I will see the blood and will pass over you, and there will be no plague of mortality among you when I strike the land of Egypt. And this day will be a memorial to you, and you will celebrate it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations, by a perpetual statute you will celebrate it. 7 days you will eat unleavened bread, and so on the first day you will ensure that there is no leaven in your houses, for whoever eats leaven from the first day to the 7th will be cut off from Israel. On the first day there will be a holy convocation, and likewise on the 7th day you will have a holy convocation. No work will be done in them, except only that you prepare what each one will eat. And you shall keep the feast of unleavened bread, for on this same day I brought your hosts out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you will keep this commandment in your generations by perpetual custom. In the first month you will eat unleavened bread, from the 14th day of the month in the evening until the 21st day of the month in the evening. For 7 days no leaven will be found in your houses, for whoever eats leavened food, whether a foreigner or a native of the country, will be cut off from the congregation of Israel. You shall not eat anything leavened, in all your rooms you will eat unleavened bread. And Moses called together all the elders of Israel, and said unto them, Bring forth and take lambs for your families, and sacrifice the Passover. And take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that will be in a basin, and anoint the lintel and the 2 posts with the blood that will be in the basin, and let none of you go out from the doors of your house until morning. For the Lord will strike the Egyptians, and when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the 2 posts, the Lord will pass through that door, and will not allow the wounder to enter your houses to strike. You shall keep this as a statute for yourselves and for your children forever. And when you enter the land that the Lord will give you, as he promised, you will keep this ritual. And when your children say to you, What is this ritual of yours? You will answer, It is the sacrifice of the Passover of the Lord, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians, and spared our houses. Then the people bowed and worshipped. Death of firstborns. And the children of Israel went and did exactly as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. And it came to pass at midnight that the Lord struck down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in prison, and all the firstborn of the animals. And that night Pharaoh arose, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, because there was no house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, and said to them, Come out from among my people, you and the children of Israel, and go, serve the Lord, as you have said. Take also your sheep and your herds, as you have said, and go, and bless me too. And the Egyptians urged the people, making haste to drive them out of the land, because they said, We are all dead. And the people carried their dough before it was leavened, their dough wrapped in their sheets on their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the commandment of Moses, asking of the Egyptians jewelry of silver, and of gold, and clothing. The Israelites leave Egypt. And the Lord gave favor to the people before the Egyptians, and they gave them whatever they asked for, thus they plundered the Egyptians. The children of Israel set out from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, not counting the children. Also went up with them a great multitude of all kinds of people, and sheep, and many cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes from the dough they had brought out of Egypt, because it had not risen, because when the Egyptians had driven them out, they had not even had time to prepare food. The time that the children of Israel lived in Egypt was 430 years. 41 And after 430 years, on the same day all the hosts of the Lord left the land of Egypt. It is a night of observance for the Lord, because he brought them out of the land of Egypt. This night must be kept for Jehovah by all the children of Israel throughout their generations. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover, no stranger will eat of it. But every human servant bought with money shall eat of it, after you have circumcised him. The foreigner and the hired servant shall not eat of it. It shall be eaten in a house, and you shall not carry any of that meat outside of it, nor break any of its bones. The entire congregation of Israel will do it. But if any foreigner dwells with you, and wishes to celebrate the Passover to the Lord, let every male be circumcised, and then he will celebrate it, and be like one of your nation, but no uncircumcised man shall eat of it. The same law will be for the native, and for the foreigner who lives among you. All the children of Israel did so, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did. And on that same day the Lord brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by his armies.